Welcome everyone here at this Climate Cafe here in Groningen. We're going to have a great session. We have two guests here being live so we can interact. It's a bit different than we anticipated, so a lot of things will happen on the floor. We have Sandra here and Hannah, and we have Ilvi on the chat that will join later. My name is Floris Boogaard. I'm a professor at the Hanze University of Applied Science. I'm also an affiliated researcher at the Global Center of Adaptation, based here in Groningen, also an office in Rotterdam. And I'm also a consultant at Deltares. I was meaning to be here with Minder de Vries from VHL Applied University. He actually prepared most of the sessions. He's somewhere in Friesland joining us on the Zoom, but we both would like to welcome you to this session on Climate Cafe. And you might ask, what is a Climate Cafe actually? Well, it's an interdisciplinary research education concept. Mostly we were in the field, but now because of Corona, it's a bit different. But this time we choose to have a bit of digital way. So we're gonna have tangible input from videos that we're gonna watch. 3 videos from 3 universities. De Rug, Groningen University, Applied Universities of Groningen and VHL. So what else? We're gonna have a Q&A sessions. I can read the chat, so feel free. And I really hope you have questions if you see the videos that we can respond on here on the floor and have some interaction on the Zoom as well. That would be perfect. Something you actually don't know, we showed the videos all to a jury as well. So a bit of more exposure for you, because yesterday we had the good news that we have an approved Interact project with a lot of stakeholders from this Northeast region. So at the end, I would like to share with you, and of course you, what kind of feedback we will have from the videos. So I hope that's nice. Don't be nervous. There's not a wide ranking on that part, because it was really positive. I'm really excited, as Mindert, about this session. So it's not about me talking. It's a youth conference, of course. So maybe we can start with Sandra. Maybe you can tell something about yourself. We know that you're from the University of Rug, of course, but who are you?
Yes, I am Sandra. As you said, I'm from De Rug, and I also represent my colleague Sophie Lindeman. Together we do the Master of Landscape History here in Groningen. And this discipline basically looks at man and how it deals with its surroundings throughout the ages. Because the landscape has always posed so many challenges as man has wanted to settle somewhere. And in order to be able to live somewhere, people have found solutions as to how they could do that. And even today, we still have many of these challenges that we have to overcome. And especially now that the climate is changing so much, we have to look at these, yes, new or maybe bigger challenges even. But by looking at how people overcame all these things in the past, we can actually be inspired for the future. So that's what we hope to add to the debate.
Perfect. Yeah, very good introduction. I think with no further ado, we can go to the first video and watch. And again, feel free to post questions on the Zoom so we can have an interaction here on the floor. Thank you. First video.
The Wadden Sea is a region formed by sea dynamics and tidal processes. For centuries, dikes have been considered the best solution to protect our lands from flooding.
However, now that there's an end to how high dikes can be raised, a bitter truth is becoming a reality. Because of our strong dependence on dikes, we have become estranged from adapting to the coastal processes of the Wadden Sea.
Prior to the dikes, the Wadden Sea inhabitants were masters in adapting to the sea dynamics and transforming the flood-rich landscape into a livable habitat. Let's have a look into the past.
During the period of global warming, about 12,000 years ago, the coastline of the northern Netherlands was regularly flooded with seawater due to sea level rise and the sinking of the mainland. Since 5000 BC, the Wadden Sea emerged as a tidal area due to a balance between the rise in sea level and the heightening of land through sedimentation. One result of the sea deposition is the development of a fertile salt marsh landscape along the coast. The first settlers have been attracted to these fertile grounds and used higher salt marsh surfaces to build their houses. They adapted to the sea dynamics and the tidal processes by adding artificial dwelling mounds, so-called wierde, to the salt marshes. These dwelling mounds were not randomly built, they were carefully constructed using local materials to withstand the constantly wet conditions. This adaptation strategy was so successful that the mounds for individual farms grew into villages. The area was densely populated for its time. The history of the landscape shows that the inhabitants of the coast of the northern Netherlands worked with the natural entrances of the sea.
Therefore, the old strategy of allowing and adapting to tidal processes should be kept in mind when preparing for the future. We can already see a shift back to these adaptation strategies, which allow the sea to enter designated floodplains. Take, for example, the pilot project for a double dike. An area within 2 dikes will be connected to the sea by a sluice and can be regularly flooded. This way, it functions as an intertidal zone and accommodates the increasing amount of seawater. In addition, it also offers opportunities for saline agriculture on the accrued sediments and for the ripening of clay, which can be used to maintain the dikes.
To conclude, when we think about protecting our land from the sea, dikes are the first thought that comes to mind. However, to prevent catastrophic flooding in the future, we must allow the sea to enter the land rather than fight it.
Therefore, we need to incorporate past adaptation strategies like the wierde into future climate adaptation plans.
Welcome back. It's a very inspiring video and great footage as well, made with a drone. Do you have your own drone, Sandra?
No. We have Mark Schuurman to thank for that. He made some really pretty
perfect
images.
Yeah. If there are any questions, please drop them in the Zoom link so we can answer it. I don't see questions yet. So can I ask you, Sandra, how was it to make this video?
It was a really nice project to do because it started as well, of course, you start to think about what we can add to the debates from our discipline, so from the view of landscape history. And then also to be able to put that in a video, to actually go to the locations and try to really show the ways in what we envision for the future. That was really nice to make.
Yeah. Are you from the region yourself, or?
No, I'm not actually. I've only lived here for 4 years. Well, that's already 4 years maybe. Yeah. And I noticed that every time I go into the countryside, I notice new things, and the whole story from the history of the surroundings are starting to be put together. And I really like to think from the whole line of the past, how that will translate into the future.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And how about you, Hannah? You saw the video. What's your perception? What would you take from the video, maybe for your practice, or maybe start with introducing yourself, because nobody knows you're from Dortmund, for example. Exactly. So let's start with that. Yeah.
So hello everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm 23, and last year I graduated in applied social psychology at the University of Groningen. And together with Thomas, Yuri, Snow, and Jack-Jan, I worked on a video as well. It's about water-related issues in an urban area. And as the video before, we also were lucky to have access to a drone, which you will see later as well. And I'm very happy that we can share our work today and get you inspired and get you to take action and give you some new insights.
Perfect. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, great. Well, I think this is, of course, first video. You shortly introduced what you're going to show. We're going to have a video in the middle as well, being introduced by Ilvi, who's here on the Zoom. We will give you the floor in a minute. So, and maybe Sandra, you work together with Sophie. Did she enjoy the whole project and making the video? Can you say something about that, or what do you think?
I like to think so. No, she definitely did. We had a good
cooperation.
A good cooperation. We definitely worked well together. She's from Germany herself too,
Okay.
And it was really nice when we drove through the countryside to hear her perspective from it.
Yeah.
Because she's from an area that kind of looks like this, but still has many differences. And that's very nice to hear about.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Well, maybe last before we go to the video of VHL, what would be your main message to the public?
Yes, so I've talked a lot about how we look at the future from a historical perspective. And what we actually try to communicate with the whole video and the whole storyline we try to make is that we should stop being so estranged from the coastal processes. Because since we diked ourselves in from the ocean, we are maybe very scared to live in an area where constant flooding would be normal. At least for me, that was a very foreign concept. Well, it's actually doable. And maybe we should start fighting the sea so much. So we should stop pushing it back. And we should maybe allow some controlled flooding to happen in certain areas. And we should start thinking of ways how we could live with that, because that's not catastrophic flooding anymore. That's just a way of living.
Yeah, very nice message. So that's really good. Living with the water, something we should do a lot more. And that's actually one of the topics that we have in the new Interact project. And a lot of people were in the jury, saw your videos and really inspired. We're going to watch the rest, of course, but I already can mention that you will have a place in that project if you want to. It's about Germany and the Netherlands. Of course, the Waddenzee, which we just saw, is not only the Netherlands, it's even stretching out to Denmark, of course, and a very good cooperation is very important. And you were invited to join that project, but I will tell something more about that. So normally the next floor is for Ilvi, but I see she might have some trouble getting into the room. I'm not sure about that. But what we could do, I think
I made it actually.
Maybe then start the video, the second video. Yeah. And then we give it some time, so we will have the introduction after the video, which is
can you hear me? I don't know.
It might be nice to just.
I can hear you, but Floris cannot hear you.
So please.
I think he's just going to run the video.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll get a chance.
And put your plate before you. A plate filled with potatoes,
go to full screen,
burger made from algae. This might be the future. Temperatures on Earth are rising worldwide, gradually causing a depletion of groundwater resources and therefore an increasing saline contamination of soils inland. Ocean temperatures are also rising, and current projections on the global mean sea levels predict a rise of around 1 meter. The rising ocean water pushes salty water onshore along coastlines, which causes salinization. Salinization includes an increase in the salinity of soil, groundwater, and surface water. This has started playing an increasingly large role in the land surrounding the Waddenzee, a World Heritage Site with unique geological and ecological values. Dutch farmers living close to the Waddenzee will have to prepare how to respond to the increasing salinity of their soil. And salinization is only one of the changes brought on by climate change. Hans Krootsma is a Dutch farmer who has already slightly noticed some changes caused by climate change.
Je ziet wel dat het hier langzamerhand warmer wordt en dat het allemaal het groeiseizoen inderdaad vooral wat langer is en dat merk je wel. Ja.
Harry Veenstra en Jonny Bijlsma, who are both engaged in water-related topics in coastal areas including the Waddenzee, are also aware of the rising problem of salinization and shared their thoughts on the topic.
Maar je merkt ook dat de mensen er meer aandacht voor hebben, het algemene publiek. Net zoals verzilting een paar jaar geleden, dan zei elke boer hier verzilting, hebben we er nooit van gehoord, daar hebben we geen last van.
Ja.
Nu praat iedereen daarover.
Ook de zoetwatervoorziening in Burgen, die pompt nu al zout water op.
Oké.
Dus zover gaat het binnenland al in. De boer kan heel slecht herkennen of het om droogteschade gaat of zoutschade. Dat lijkt qua bruine vlekken die je in het land ziet in de beplanting. Dat is heel slecht te zien of het zout of droogteschade is. Zilt en teelt, dat is voorlopig nog niet helemaal klaar.
Ja.
Zover zijn we nog niet.
Nee.
En die markt is ook nog niet zo ver. Maar dus wat je voor de korte termijn zou moeten doen, is waterbeschikbaarheid daarop inzetten. Dus dat je als boer water vasthoudt, of dat nou in de bodem is of in het oppervlaktewater.
Ja.
Maar dat je dat kunt gebruiken voor infiltratie.
Ja.
Irrigatie of infiltratie of drainage.
Ja.
Eigenlijk moet je beide doen.
Eigenlijk moet je beide doen.
De verzilting ook een kans is.
Oké, volgens mij zijn we terug. En, we hebben een beetje met de techniek bekeken wat we kunnen doen. En volgens mij kan ik nu praten met Ilvi. Klopt dat, Ilvi? Kan jij unmuten?
Ja, als het goed is wel.
Even kijken, ik hoor jou.
Ik weet niet of je mij kan horen.
Ja, Ilvi, volgens mij kan ik nu met jou praten.
Ja.
Ja. Hey, wat hebben wij een mooie video van jou gezien.
Dankjewel. Ja, ik hoop niet. Het einde is volgens mij nu niet getoond. En het was juist spectaculair. Maar.
Oh, hey, wat we kunnen doen, Ilvi. Jij mag nu je introductie geven. Volgens mij hebben we nog wel tijd. Dus kun jij je introductie misschien geven. En dan draaien we nog 1 keer misschien de video. Omdat die half was daarna. Ja? Kun jij misschien even vertellen. Sorry, this is an English session, Ilvi. Sorry, let's get back. Welcome, Ilvi, to this. We watched a great video of you. Maybe you can give a short introduction about the video and the message that you wanted to send. Yeah. The floor is yours.
Of course. So my name is Ilvi, and I will represent the group of the Van Halarenstein University of Applied Sciences from Leeuwarden. I'm in a group with 5 other girls, Wijke, Els, Liv, Odette, and Anke. And we are all students from the Coastal and Marine Management Study Program. We're 1st and 2nd year students. And our video mainly focuses on salinization in the Waddenzee area. But I think you've all noticed by seeing the first part of the video already. And yeah, we think it's a very interesting topic, and we really enjoy talking to some farmers and some people that you can also hear in the video. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the video already by seeing it, and mainly that we inspire you to well, get to know a little bit more about salinization and well, the fact that it's playing an increasingly large in the Netherlands and in many parts in the world actually right now. So that's my introduction.
Floris, we cannot hear you. Floris, your Zoom microphone is off.
How about this, Indert? Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, now I don't hear you. Great, you're on the... So can we the second video? Thanks a lot, Mindert.
Imagine yourself at a dining table in a nice restaurant. The waiter comes over and puts your plate before you. A plate filled with potatoes, seaweed lettuce, and a burger made from algae. This might be the future. Temperatures on Earth are rising worldwide, gradually causing a depletion of groundwater resources and therefore an increasing saline contamination of soils inland. Ocean temperatures are also rising, and current projections on the global mean sea levels predict a rise of around 1 meter. The rising ocean water pushes salty water onshore along coastlines, which causes salinization. Salinization includes an increase in the salinity of soil, groundwater, and surface water. This has started playing an increasingly large role in the land surrounding the Waddenzee, a World Heritage Site with unique geological and ecological values. Dutch farmers living close to the Waddenzee will have to prepare how to respond to the increasing salinity of their soil. And salinization is only one of the changes brought on by climate change. Hans Krootsma is a Dutch farmer who has already slightly noticed some changes caused by climate change.
Je ziet wel dat het hier langzamerhand warmer wordt en dat het allemaal nou, het groeiseizoen inderdaad vooral wat langer is en dat merk je wel. Ja.
Harry Veenstra en Jonny Bijlsma, who are both engaged in water-related topics in coastal areas including the Waddenzee, are also aware of the rising problem of salinization and shared their thoughts on the topic.
Maar je merkt ook dat de mensen er meer aandacht voor hebben, het algemene publiek. Net zoals verzilting een paar jaar geleden, dan zei elke boer hier verzilting hebben er nooit van gehoord, daar hebben we geen last van.
Ja.
Nu praat iedereen erover.
Ook de zoetwatervoorziening in Burgen, die pompt nu al zout water op. Dus zover gaat het het binnenland al in. De boer kan heel slecht herkennen of het om droogteschade gaat of zoutschade. Dat lijkt qua bruine vlekken die je in het land ziet, in de beplanting. Dat is heel slecht te zien of het zout of droogteschade is. Zilt en teelt, dat is er voorlopig nog niet helemaal klaar.
Ja.
Zover zijn we nog niet.
Nee.
En die markt is ook nog niet zo ver. Maar dus wat je voor de korte termijn zou moeten doen, is waterbeschikbaarheid. Daarop inzetten. Dus dat je als boer water vasthoudt, of dat nou in de bodem is of in het oppervlaktewater.
Ja.
Maar dat je dat kunt gebruiken voor infiltratie.
Ja.
Irrigatie of infiltratie of drainage.
Ja.
Eigenlijk moet je beide doen.
Eigenlijk moet je beide doen.
De verzilting ook een kans is.
And we're back. Thanks a lot. Great video. Sorry for the bit of technical difficulties. I think we can have any questions to Ilvi and of course Odette, Wijke, Els, and Anke. You get some congratulations in the chat, of course. I'm not sure if there are any questions of the audience. We try to have it as interactive as possible. So feel free to put it in the chat, and otherwise we go to Hannah. Of course, you're in the studio here. What was your perception of this video? Any comments or?
Yes, I think this is a really important aspect, of course, of adapting to the sea, saline agriculture. How are you managing with salty grounds? Because in our video, we very romantically say, yeah, we can all live on high living mounds, and we just live with the sea that floods the surroundings. But that also, of course, means that you have to think of a whole different way of adapting to that with agriculture and the way you will sustain yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, this video is really about saltwater intrusion, a big problem, and that's actually what the jury said about this video as being one of the strong points.
Oh, that's great. Maybe any comments of you, Hannah, before we give you even more the floor to introduce your video and start that one. So
yes, I think it was a very wonderful video that showed that each country has its different challenges in climate change. And before I moved here to the Netherlands, I've never heard of salinization of the ground, and it was a really new issue for me. And I think it's wonderful that we could show a bit of the issue that is particularly Dutch in a way in the context of climate change. And I think it's super interesting, and I think it's great to show to the audience, because maybe even though you're Dutch or from another country, maybe you weren't aware, maybe you feel like looking into your own country's climate change struggles. So I think that's a good approach to take.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. And well, I think we already see that we have 3 different videos, of course. Logically, it's a different origin. This is about saltwater. It's about the Waddenzee, where we actually started. So now we slowly move to Oh, sorry, I do see a question now. So there's a question from Marieke. Ilvi, does salination of the soil pose any problems to food availability? So you can, of course, answer in the chat, or otherwise we pick it up maybe later. Maybe a short response for that from my side. One of the greatest things we saw maybe on the drone already in this region, we see that we have to adapt to food production. We have more saltwater intrusion in this area, but of course also on the islands, also in the Noord-Holland region or Zuid-Holland and Zeeland, of course, where we have a lot of salt, and farmers are changing, of course, their patterns, their crops to be more salt resistant, and that's very inspiring to see. So not sure about the technical, but I think we should go to Hanna and Ilvi. Thank you, Marieke, for thanking us, and please respond as well to this question in the chat. We try to make it as interactive as possible. For the floor, I would suggest that we slowly move from the Waddenzee to salt intrusion to the city, slowly to Groningen, because that's the great thing about these three videos. They're quite different. So maybe Hanna, a short introduction from your side. What did your team make? And feel free to introduce anything that you want to say.
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, I represent students from the Hanze University of Applied Sciences. And together with Jack, Jan, Yuri, Thomas, and Snow, we worked on a pitch video focusing on water-related issues in an urban area. And that was specifically interesting because every one of us lives in a city. And sometimes you're not really aware of the struggles that climate change can actually pose to you and how much of a risk there is actually in your life. And in our video, we wanted to highlight that from a citizen perspective. And we wanted to not only educate people on the topic, but also to give kind of a nudge to take action and to be active and think about it. And we also were lucky to get some drone shots by Mark Schröman as the first group. And I think we came up with a, if I may say so myself, very nice video. And yeah, I'm excited for you to see it.
All right. Oh, I think that's a great introduction. So can we show the third video, please? Yeah? Okay.
Imagine the damage heavy rain and flooding can cause to your belongings and loved ones. Due to climate change, this is one of the biggest challenges we're facing in the 21st century. This global problem affects you and your neighborhood as well.
The majority of Dutch citizens lives in a city, which is complex and dynamic. However, as climate change is a collective issue, there's great potential for climate adaptation if citizens and the government work together. A deep understanding of people's motivations to engage in climate adaptation is important in order to facilitate collaboration between the citizens and the government.
Dutch cities are made up of 40% public and 60% private areas. This includes industrial spaces. The government is responsible for keeping the cities safe from water-related problems. This means making the cities more climate adaptive. This can be done in three tasks. First, enough water. Second, water safety. And third, clean water.
Water problems in industrial areas occur while there is a lot of stone materials, causing the sewage system to overflow, making industrial areas more green and water absorbent.
Yes. Okay, I think there's a bit of a malfunction in the video there. As you could see, I placed some links, of course, in the chat, so you can always review the videos in this case. So, and I hope you do, but not now, of course, because we can have a bit of course, interaction. The video stopped there, Hanna. What's happening next? We're very exciting to know how this video would end. Can you tell something about that?
Yes,
Sorry.
of course. So the rest of the video goes more and more into the city, and it ends with a call for action to you, the youth, and you as citizens. So we really wanted to highlight or show in the video, we will show how the government actually can support you as a citizen in behaving in a climate adaptive way. And there are already some implementations done in the Netherlands, some subsidies from the government, for example, and that's shown in the video. And it ends with a call for action and highlights you as a citizen as an important stakeholder in climate adaptation. So I think that's kind of the end message, that you are all very important, and by working together with the government, we can accomplish great things, and that there's great potential.
Amazing. So we don't actually have to see the video. You can just tell about it very lively, and that's fine too. So of course we had some sessions about the videos, making the videos with Sandra as well. You've seen the video. Is there any response from your side to the video, or questions, or anything you want to interact?
Yes, I like the way how you approach the problem from, of course, all the different areas you see in life, like the industries, but also neighborhoods and actually individual people, what they can do and what they can do together. So could you explain to me how exactly like the things you can do as a person, like apparently making your garden greener, how does that directly impact the water problems?
So of course, it's a very abstract thought to think, oh, if I make my grass, my garden greener, that's immediately going to impact something, but it is about volume. So if all citizens do a bit by bit, step by step, we can make the city greener collectively. So I think that's the most important message here, that even though your step might seem small, in the long run, if everyone collectively does the same, it can lead to great impacts. And there are subsidies in the Netherlands, or in Groningen, for example, where you can remove tiles from your garden and they will help you dispose them, or you will get some subsidies if you make a roof greener. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and what you do has great impact, actually.
Nice. Yeah, great. Yeah. So I actually can't see any questions in the chat. So if that could be maybe provided to me, that would be nice. There's from Wijke a comment in the chat about the interviews they made with the farmers. Might be nice that when we showed the videos to the jury, in this case German municipalities participating in the new EU project, and also water authorities, that they really appreciate the interaction in the videos. So the interviews with the farmers, and of course the interaction between yourselves as well, being interdisciplinary and raising different topics of climate adaptation, not only salinity, of course, but also floodings and heat stress and the major challenges that we face in this area. And that's quite nice, of course, to see what this brings, and especially from the interviews and the farmers, I can read this from the chat, is that of course they're working towards more sustainable crops and of course saline agriculture. And it's quite exciting to see that actually in this region, one of the regions, as a potato valley they call it, if you say that in English. And now I think everyone is looking at Ohio, which is the potato state in the USA, of course. So Eileen asked what are possible crops that can be grown on salinated soil, also flax and hemp, for example. That's not a question probably to you to answer, but feel free to do so. But
my expertise isn't really on agriculture that much, but I did read an article while I was researching about certain potato strains that will do very well in saline areas.
Yeah.
Well, actually, potato is a very sweet crop because of recent technologies and how we can actually make new potato strains. It could actually be possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I see that Mindert is coming to help as well, as I explained, from VHL, one of the originators of this this session on Climate Cafe. Of course, he of course, well, he says beets and carrots and potatoes, and of course the varieties must be quite more resistant to that. So. Well, we have 10 minutes left. It will be good to close off maybe with the last comments, of course, for you, to the viewers, to say so. Maybe something about the jury I mentioned. It was quite nice to have 5 people from the jury watching all the videos. They commented very enthusiastic. They want to use the videos in the new project that we're starting up in the Eems-Dollard-gebied, as I explained, the Waddenzee region, for example. Also with Mindert, we're working on more proposals to work more together on international knowledge exchange in this region, which is really nice. One of the topics, of course, having a climate adaptation summit with students is very important. They're the ambassadors of the future, of course, and that makes them realize that there's in these projects a certain type of dissemination, capacity building, raising awareness, where we really want to stimulate youth to give their message across. And the great thing is, if you ask a municipality, and we asked private partners, and we asked public partners to review the videos and make a bit of a ranking, it's obvious that people have a different opinion. And that's great, because they're different views, they're different people, different organizations working on different fields. So we made a very difficult calculation to do the ranking. And actually, that's something that a jury always starts with. It was very difficult. And in this case, there was no ranking, actually. Okay. So everybody had a very good view, and especially some more theoretical, some really appreciated, of course, the interaction, as mentioned, with the farmers as well. So we decided to give you all the floor to participate in this new project, which is quite exciting, because we just got the news yesterday. So it's ClimateAdaptation, it's called, with a lot of municipalities from Germany, also from Groningen, and water authorities, and of course the applied universities and the Groningen University as well. So and I will give you the short feedback on the video that the different people. So, but they're very positive, and that's really great to see. So I think when we close off, well, before we close off, it might be nice to mention that after this, Hannah is going to stay. Not because she's very excited, but she has a session with a lot of stakeholders. I think that's in Dutch. Yes. So I'm really excited to see how you will cope with that. Can you maybe explain, because the next session people can stick around, of course. What is that session about? I heard it's about politics, it's art, so very various.
Exactly. So the next session will be a talk show, which is kind of focusing on 3 topics. So we have politics, art, and kind of behavior. And since I am a graduate in applied social psychology, I will be talking a bit about how behavior change can take place in the context of climate adaptation and climate change. And throughout the past year, as an intern at the Innovation Lab here in Groningen, I gathered some insights into how municipalities can, for example, engage citizens in climate adaptation, and how municipalities can motivate citizens to engage in climate adaptation. And I think it's going to be very interesting, and I'm very excited.
Great. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think already well, closing up, of course, Mindert is, of course, well, he's responding in the chat. I already told him, so everybody could see that I really miss you here on stage. It would be great if we could do that.
I miss you too, Floris.
Very good comment from him as well in the new project. There's
you cannot hear me.
Some of you, when the project is really going to start, might graduate, but it's also about young professionals. So indeed, comment from Mindert, we can all participate, and let's see if we can really start focusing now. And I see Eileen Blackmore in the chat, and some are actually partners that are in the project, so that's quite exciting. But I think we should slowly go to a conclusion of this session. Maybe some last words from you, Sandra, to give you the floor.
Well, in my opinion, it's very clear that we're now in a kind of long-term transition in how we will deal with our climate change in Groningen and in the Netherlands. And I think it's very exciting to hear all these different outlooks on how we'll do that and how they can all interact very, very nicely. I think it's certainly a message of hope.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, Hannah.
Yeah, I also think, adding to what you said, that I hope that this session today could give you a bit of hope as well as insights into how climate change is affecting the Netherlands and how climate adaptation is already taking place. And I hope that you feel inspired to look some things up, to gain a deeper understanding of what's happening around you. And I think that an event like today is a wonderful thing, and I think it's great that you all participated.
Nice, yeah. So what can I say more, of course? It's great that you have been here so much. Thanks to you, of course, and Ilvi joining us for the chat. I think you made amazing work with these videos, and we can really be proud as organizations, the Applied University, VHL, Hanze, and of course the RUG, but also everybody who participated. Just to thank, of course, Mindert de Vries from VHL, who was very supportive in making the videos. Mark, as you mentioned, the guy with the drone, so to say, made amazing footage that we can use for new projects as well as the climate pair that I mentioned. I would like to mention the jury, not mentioning the names, but I think you have seen your feedback in this session as well. Johan Oost, of course, from VetSkills, thank you so much for supportive and making the pitches and very clear videos on this. So I hope I don't forget anyone, but well, thanks again. Let's close this sessions. We will make the videos available, of course, and I hope you had a lot of fun and will stay with us. See Hannah, for example, at De Wereld Draait Door in the next session. So thank you so much. And of course, the technicians here all around us, thanks a lot, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.